And to sit here and let France mock the country, mock your religion, make fun of every single thing you feel holy. This is the Last Supper. This is everything holy about Christianity. And we say absolutely nothing about it and say, oh, you cannot even complain. What are we doing wrong by saying that this is disgusting? This is not art.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Chronicles with your host, Christian Paul speaking, the socially awkward nerd. And what we have came to is the last part of analyzing Diverting Hate. So we have two more sections that we're going to definitely deal with definitely in this video here. Basically, they talk about the holistic approach and everything else. We're definitely going to gloss over through it. And the final section they have up in the book is actually basically a teacher who was really soaked into the manosphere and definitely actually made some efforts to mainly reform and give guidance to younger students so they not make the same mistakes that he has made. That last section you can definitely look into on your own. I will have the site below in regards to that. That'll actually give you the actual report that you can definitely look into below. That's going to be placed onto my playlist and definitely into the comment section whenever we actually try to review these types of, whenever we try to review pamphlets like this and that nature, whenever we try to review the Diverting Hate stuff. That's basically, you can definitely review for yourself for further information or for further curiosity. If you want to actually try those computations yourself, that's definitely fine. But I want to do like a quick glimpse of actually going through section 3, if I'm not mistaken. If I look into my computer while I'm recording right now, it's definitely section 3 of Diverting Hate. We're going to gloss through over and like the strategies that they mainly use. And I will also add in some additional strategies based on my personal experience to encourage you young gentlemen out there to actually get out there a bit more and stop being literally a hermit up in the house mainly 24/7. And we are going to dig into that literally right about now. So gentlemen, as we go through this last section here, and I know they basically talk about the VLOPs, very large online platforms, in mitigating misogynist narratives through the insights that emphasize critical need for interventions, policy measures to address challenges posed by extremist ideologies, and yada 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 yada. Right. So we scroll down here. Basically, the university and the U.S. government makes the analysis of the complex roles in the online platforms that they have, and they had the basic study that they mainly had to actually try to counter much of violence threats, everything that's linked to, the greater massive movement, like the pseudo alpha guru movement that's actually shown here, which we have with Reddit. And as you can see, this little pyramid here, they talk about intermediary services, hosting services, online platforms, and the very large online platforms, which you got the VLOPs that actually stems with the Digital Service Acts, in which they govern online intermediaries and platforms with the primary objective of preventing illegal and harmful activities. We don't really have to go through all these things. So let's go through some of these points that the VLOPs mainly have discussed. So on X, they talk about the normalization around misogynistic hate speech that's endorsed by Elon Musk. That's all the way through last year. And several prominently banned X accounts were back in the X, followed by Elon here, in which they allowed Alex Jones back, as well as Donald Trump. And they basically not only gained actually account after 5 years on Mr. Jones, but they are actively welcome to participate in live space sessions hosted by Elon Musk himself, in which the live sessions also feeds the controversial manosphere influencer, the pseudo alpha guru, Mr. Andrew Tate.
Get stoned!
Has a substantial audience of about 100,000 listeners, An effective service platform Musk's implicit endorsement of Andrew Tate and his ideas was contributed to the northward increase of Tate's influence on the X platform, with the high-profile endorsements, platforms slash moderation policies, and the algorithmic application of problematic content access for you feed, positioning X as a prominent hub for manosphere content and discussions. In July, Musk officially rolled out ad revenue sharing program for creators, and while social media programs like YouTube, X has a monetization policy in place, propagating misogyny that doesn't encourage creators from capital gains on X. Andrew Tate, we know, was among one of the first creators to see revenue on X, in which they totaled the first payout being $20,000, over $20,000, with the disregard for X proper policies and everything, that no revenue can be made from false, misleading, or unsubstantiated claims. And you see in the contrary stuff that they mainly have here. Now, point number 2 discusses the monetization of the manosphere accounts doesn't really hinder follower growth. It all depends on the mindsets of the viewers. It all depends on how realistic the viewers are and what their mindsets mainly are at the end of the day, irrespective of how much profit that they mainly get. Now, will they be able to actually sustain that policy when it comes to money? That's going to be a whole different question. Now, based on what the article says, YouTube's monetization policy so to ensure content adheres to various guidelines without the bad censor via deplatforming. Now, when a video is deemed to violate these guidelines, it can lose its eligibility for monetization. They got demonetized, basically, meaning the content creator will not earn revenue through ads. Factors leading to monetization include inappropriate language, controversial things, inappropriate language stuff that's very, very minor. But controversial themes, get down to extreme hate speech, harmful behavior, those are the most volatile. While it's early 2012, the online video sharing platform automatically monetized videos detected as unfriendly for advertisers, YouTube has consistently updated its monetization policy to respond to a rise in hate speech and disinformation. So they see all the grounds of violation of these sets of guidelines, including the pseudo-alpha gurus being demonetized, Fresh and Fit, just pearly things, Sandman leads the men. And while they actually did the track subscriber count, and I basically discussed about the whole viewership stuff that we did earlier today, the viewership has continued to grow. The viewership is actually still very strong. They found out 10 subscribers after the monetization. So while Fresh and Fit had 654,000 subscribers in November 2023, it had a whopping 690,000 subscribers in January of 2024, and we already know Fresh and Fit has over a million, about 1.5 million subscribers as of now, over that at that point. Now, just per early things here, has the YouTube account, rise from 1.4 million to almost 2 million down today, in which they have all these anti-government conspiracy theories that imply the Matrix gonna try to hide the quote-unquote truth to actually shadow it, because they want the viewers to actually mainly usurp through their ideology, basically, right? Through the monetization of shadow bans, a lot of these pseudo-alpha guru influencers seem to garner extra support after the monetization. Now, the monetization should be implemented early in the lifetime. Hateful accounts shouldn't have a big enough audience to be significant support and considered modest in the community. But again, hey, to each their own. Every social media site is actually basically different and running their own algorithms. And number 3, they discuss the whack-a-mole dilemma presented by fan accounts, highlights the inadequacy in modern efforts. And you see some of the fan accounts they mainly shown through TikTok, in which they discuss the challenge of moving hateful content. It's worsened by coded language and the spread of banned content by fan accounts. Today, TikTok expand the use of MGTOW, men going their own way, C's for the streets. The TikTok is literally way more anal during certain keywords than YouTube has. Due to the fact that it's actually mainly gone fast in real time. Another one would be Red Pill and all these things. Andrew Tate, any type of post that in regards to Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Zerker, Pearl. You put photos of any of them in your videos, your shit will literally get blocked instantly through TikTok. That's how anal TikTok literally is. Irrespective of that, fan accounts boost clips that those influencers still post on social media that are active on X and Rumble that mainly have still shown literally today. Now, here's what the government and the colleges involved and Peril mainly is recommended. Improving the terms and conditions with YouTube and many social media accounts mainly do. Implement rigorous AI detection for harmful content. The question is, who's going to be running the AI content? And who's actually doing all these codes and implementations? Who's going to be handling all the computer vision coding and everything else when it comes to software detection as well as software engineering? That's something else to factor out. Reducing the application of harmful narratives. Okay, you can do all these things, and you have the platforms to do more, reduce the stuff that's mainly there. And 4, you want to protect the harmless content creators with content from non-prominent content creators being used by pseudo-alpha guru accounts to make points supporting the ideology. Better protection mechanisms need to be in place for the vast majority of content creators not to have their creations misused, whether it's clip from innocent stream reviews or videos calling out disrespectful behavior at the gym, such as Joey Swell. Shout out to the homie. Manosphere influencers that uses content clips from other creators push misogynistic viewpoints. Pseudo red pill gurus, more needs to be done to get this content reported as defamation. And the last, they deal with face recognition and content moderation, which they need the platforms leveraging and further develop AI applications and software development, i.e. face recognition and spelling identification, can play in a crucial role in addressing the escalating challenge posed by proliferation of pseudo-alpha group fan accounts disseminating content from banned influencers. And by employing these methods, platforms can proactively identify and mitigate the reemergence of banned individuals, curbing the whack-a-mole dilemma, promoting a safer online environment. So we got this first section mainly done here. So now we're gonna actually do something in closing to close all this out. Protecting the people and the work around it. So I want to thoroughly gloss over some stuff on how actual practitioners and researchers can do the hard work, and they have their little advice here. We're gonna gloss over through all the stuff and how they need to actually present it. Right? Number 1, think strategically and think about where research actually needs to be public facing. Obviously, it actually comes through. Now, serious consideration, according to them, needs to go into whether it interferes with their critical activities, such as working together. Important organizations stop people from falling further into the rabbit hole of the greater manosphere. Not only functional, but also ethical considerations need to go in the decision of where and what to share publicly. And also, 2, prepare for research to circulate in the community of intervention. There's high likelihood that research will be interpreted as an attack or ideological smear campaign. Yeah, there's researchers, they gotta be guided by the same ethical considerations granted to research subjects. Concretely means respecting individuals in the community by ensuring that their voices are accurately represented and their privacy is protected, avoiding sensationalism and presenting research findings and prioritizing dignity and well-being of all people. Now, the third one that they mainly brought out is consider multiple interpretations, in which you have the bedrock of any rigorous research, in a sense, remember when confirmation bias can be at play, and be proactive in formulating and testing alternative hypotheses. And also, to add to my personal deal, is incorporate personal experience with those researchers when dealing with these things themselves as well. It can also be an added factor in solving and actually doing the research you need. When utilizing your own personal experience in this, it can be a lot more powerful towards the listeners that are watching, or to people that actually literally stuck into the manosphere, and seeing if there's any alternatives, seeing if there are any open to alternatives, actually how to learn and actually implement some things when it comes to these stuff, whether or not the manosphere is legit. It's very important actually you utilize your personal experience on why the manosphere may not be working. If you try the things that actually do work in your favor, definitely share that with the people that are actually literally looking for your advice and looking for your guidance. And 4, define every term that's not straightforward to avoid further confusion. Definitely slang and jargon. 5, stand behind the research and team as the organization. You can just skip through all that. And 6, proper operational security. All the blah 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 stuff that comes with the research stuff that they mainly have here. Now, they mainly talk about the wellness organizations that actually mainly came by, and it's best for these organizations to actually speak to the young man's legacy that's actually literally tough and a hard run and everything else. I don't really need to go through all of this stuff that's actually mainly here, because it actually talks about relating based on personal experiences. So instead of reading through all of this up in the pamphlet, which we are definitely done at this point, I want to give you my personal opinions, and I want to speak with the young gentleman here on how to counter these types of narratives and actually utilize practical findings and utilize practical applications to really go by in your life, which includes social skills, so that you'll be literally better off, not just in the day game, for anywhere literally up society, all up in the game of life. Let's get right to it. So, gentlemen, I'm very aware on the statistics that's been going on with like the rise of sexless men, literally as of recent, the rise of depression within men, all the stuff that's been going on, the increased number of self-deletions within men. It's a sin and a shame, and it's just literally extremely tragic to witness something like this go down between men, due to the fact that they feel like their voices aren't heard or their impact hasn't been felt in greater society, especially in Western society. And I basically come to realize in a lot of these cases, when it comes to Western society, in many cases men are not respected at all. The only cases in which men are definitely respected is if they put on some good makeup, they put on a dress, most of the time they put on high heels, get themselves effeminate, get themselves all dressed up, have themselves be part of the alphabet community. No disrespect to those people, no disrespect to those that live up in that community at all, no disrespect to those that actually want to be gay, or that any man that wants to wear makeup, or however they want to do lip gloss, have like high painted nails, or like the acrylic nails, they have the extensions. If a man wants to do those things, that's technically his right. We're not going to disrespect to it at all. It's more so of literally an agenda at play, like how like the Western mainstream mainly wants to portray men, how they want to actually mainly foresee men, just if we feed a certain narrative, and just to try and keep a bunch of men in control. And that is just real depressing, if you will. But whenever one of the most recent hurricanes came about, whenever Hurricane Beryl came aboard and actually touched down on Texas, basically touched down Texas, did some huge damages. A lot of people that actually mainly helped did the rebuilding part and did the blue collar stuff were men. A lot of the folks actually dealt with tornadoes and dealt with like a lot of tornado damages. It actually rebuilt after the homes were damaged, after the neighborhoods were damaged as a result of tornadoes. A lot of them were mainly men. And yes, there were some women in play as well. They're doing the blue collar work as well, but the vast majority of people that actually did like the work, that did the rebuilding, rebuilt communities after storms, after damages, everything else, a very, very, very vast majority of those people were men. And yet they didn't deserve enough credit. They didn't really have received enough due that they deserve, which is really a sin and a shame. Which is why I can fully relate to many of y'all right now that are fully depressed, who feel that many of y'all ain't heard, many of y'all don't feel welcome, all these other things. And it's really, really a sin and shame, which I fully understand why y'all were run down to a lot of like these manosphere content in the hope to actually get yourself revitalized, in the hope to actually try to get yourself going, in the hope to try and get your confidence back once again. But little did you know, they have you literally usurped, and they have you literally just warped out into like some man-hating ideologies, into some woman-hating ideologies, and mainly combined saying like women are the problem, women are garbage, women deserve less, white women ain't shit, feminists, and say taking over the whole stream, they mainly take over the globe. Yes, women make up the majority of the consumer spending, and they tell them all these key positions and like how they should lead the countries, and how a lot of these pseudo alpha gurus will mainly tell you that any woman that actually has a top tier position, or even has an entrepreneurial spirit, is a threat to the manosphere. It is a threat to society as a whole. And I am here to personally tell you, in real life, literally you personally, gentlemen, that is not the case. And I repeat, that is not the case. That is not practically the case whatsoever. Alright? Ain't nothing wrong with women having their own businesses. Ain't nothing wrong with women actually building their own stuff if like they have the right to actually pick whoever they want to pick and work however they want to work, and whether or not they want to work in blue collar, white collar, or even they want to be the president of the United States, or even the governor of New York, or whatever state it is. That's on them. But I'm here to tell you, women are not the problem. They're literally not the problem. And like with women dealing with all this stuff that's coming by, thinking that men are the problem, they're not the problem either. The real issue is a lack of communication, a lack of confidence. The real issue is actually getting yourself up and getting yourself out there and literally trying to network with people. literally try to talk to people actually enjoying your own company. Literally actually trying to build one of your own company and actually trying to go through trial and error to see what you can learn and what you can literally try to build on, just so you can literally try to improve your social life. That's the real issue. Too many men literally spend too much time up in their phones, surfing through web, surfing through YouTube, surfing through TikTok. Not even making the effort to actually try and go out and literally try to network. Not just for jobs, but also to improve your social skills and actually get out and literally try to meet new people. Meet more people. It doesn't have to be within a group. It could be literally anybody. It could be any stranger. Just go simply talk to them, try to form a conversation, observe, ask, see if you actually try to listen to understand, not listen to respond. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be able to be like a better communicator, better listener that way. You know what I'm saying? Stop being a hermit. Stop making effort to literally try to go out and about and actually enjoy your own company. Get yourself out. If you have a job right now, whether you're working from home or whether you're working remote, or if you have your own business, you shouldn't spend too much time literally up in the house. If you literally too much time working literally in the office every single day, or like working literally up basically at your location every day and literally going about at the office every single day. You know what I'm saying? I understand you need some downtime. I understand you need some recovery. While you have some time to kill, whenever, peak traffic mainly comes along, that'll be your cue to actually go out to a bar or go out to a park and actually literally try to socialize with people. Or get yourself immersed, being around other people at the very least. Anything that actually gets you into curiosity and that you enjoy to do. Ain't nothing wrong with asking that particular person or even asking that particular woman discreetly on what you're really interested in. Ask them questions, ask them what they mainly done, and if they actually decline or if they're not interested, let them be. Go talk to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's the simplest part of the game. You know what I mean? If a woman doesn't like you based on all these like preferences and everything else, ignore their preferences, move on. If they have all this other issues, whenever they actually get attracted by you, definitely work on your skills, definitely actually go for the kill, definitely go straight to the point. You know what I mean? Which is actually very most important. Do not, and I repeat, do not incorporate podcast bro rhetoric. Do not incorporate podcast bro bullshit. Up to dates, up to conversations, even when dealing with a stranger, do not even incorporate that at all. You know what I mean? Unless you want to actually try and challenge some of their narratives and actually try and be open. What do you think about this guy? And this is practical, fine. But trying to force feed somebody into it that they're not fully prepared for is literally a recipe for disaster all the way through. And if some folks actually bring that stuff up, ain't nothing wrong with actually being practical, ain't nothing wrong with being neutral, but do your best to actually try to mitigate the situation as best as you can. Alright? That's something that I also want to actually try to focus on as well, coming from a guy that actually underwent something like this until he has a little bit of reality check, until he finally realized that many of the dudes that he was watching over time weren't really legitimate as they claim to be. And yes, there will be some women that will reject you. There will be some narcissistic women that will come by and actually try and manipulate you, just actually try and get a leg up in their game due to the fact that they have some very, very deep insecurities that they've yet to heal, or they just don't even want to be healed at that particular moment. These are the types of women that you literally need to avoid at all costs. Whenever you see red flags in them, and if they do block you for whatever reason, when they don't follow through, count yourself a blessing. Don't down yourself too much. It's more so a reflection on that particular woman's part, way more than you, because it really shows her deep insecurities. It really shows her deep inadequacies and her lack of confidence when dealing with these types of conflicts whenever it comes to the social realm. It reflects more so poorly on them than it does towards you. They're missing on a good thing that you have going on, that you're literally building, and that you're literally building further. Alright? So again, gentlemen, please get yourself out there. Practice networking with people up in the real world. Practice developing more relationships with other people up in the real world, so you'll be able to actually further have lasting relationships, not just with social skills, but definitely relationships, also definitely in work, and also definitely in academia that can literally get you literally further down in life, down the line. There is hope at the end of the tunnel. And I will discuss more of this stuff whenever I deal with the dark psychology when it comes with this podcast bro nonsense, as well as this crazy feminist nonsense they mainly come about. And I'm going to leave it at that. It's been a crazy ride, ladies and gentlemen, throughout digging into this Diverting Hate podcast that has mainly been going on and is literally down insane to the T. Expect the whole dark psychology tactics on how folks up in the red pill and how folks up in, these pseudo-feminist outlets that you see up in social media mainly use this to try to keep y'all online. And I will definitely show y'all the tactics to mainly counter them in a later video within the weeks to come. And with that, Chris and Paul from the Nerd Chronicles is signing out. Deuces. Juicy!